Okay. Okay. This is Kason 360. I'm your host, Les Kason Jr. This is for my YouTube page. If you want to get a hold of me, if you want to get a hold of Kason 360, you can get a hold of Kason 360 at Kason 360 at AOL.com. Again, Kason 360 at AOL.com. Or you can get a hold of me on my Facebook page, Kason 360. Kason, CASON THREESIXTY. You gotta spell out the 60. So Kason 360 in not letters but in words. You can get a hold of me on my Twitter page at Kason 360. Or you can contact me at 515-724-1909. Because I am also a proud owner of a retail business as well that sells African clothes, arts, jewelry. Today's show was about European holidays and why African Americans spend so much on European holidays. I covered Thanksgiving and Halloween. And those two holidays go back and back. Halloween coming before Thanksgiving. Halloween is nothing more than a satanic pagan ritual that comes out of Europe. They don't believe. I'll give you the short version of it. The short version of it is during the time of paganism, during the early conquest of Europe. They believed in they didn't believe in ghosts. Matter of fact, they were afraid of their own ancestors, so a lot of times they would scare them away with rituals like burning items at the stake to keep the ghost away. And that's where you get trick or treat from, basically, because they will feed into the fire different foods, apples, fruits, to feed the ghosts so that they won't come and harm them. In African tradition, we welcome our ancestors. We bring in our ancestors because our ancestors will always be a part of us. If it wasn't for our ancestors, no African people would be here today. So we will always give glory and honor to our ancestors. We do it by the way of candles. We do it by the way of photos, calling our ancestors. Matter of fact, if you say the name of your ancestor 3 times, that usually they say that will bring your ancestor to you. So we believe in our ancestors, and not only that we believe in our ancestors, we also give honor and glory to the African ancestors, because, like I said, without them, we would not be here. As far as black people and people of color. Also, too, I went into Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was nothing more than a murder of the indigenous red man, Native American, or what you shouldn't call them, Indians, because using the word Indian is like calling an African American the N word. But Thanksgiving was nothing more than a murder to an indigenous people that welcomed the Pilgrims. They welcomed them. Matter of fact, the Pilgrims that was on the verge of death, and until the Indians, excuse me, that's the wrong word to use. The Native Americans came in and saved them. They saved their lives, and in return, the Pilgrims, the Europeans, shot at them, murdered their children, butchered them, burned them alive, burned the women alive, killed the men, used the babies as for dog meat. They did horrific things, and then they had the nerve. Then the European settlers had the nerve to justify it. But yet today we spend millions of dollars on Halloween and Thanksgiving, holidays to which we have no business even celebrating, because it has nothing to do with African people. In fact, it was a whole Halloween has been a horror for us for years. Many of our children to this day come up missing, come up dead during the time of Halloween. They get sacrificed for some European ritual. Thanksgiving, celebration of murder. We don't have no business celebrating those two. We need to start embracing our own African holidays. We need to start embracing our own African tradition. But until we get the knowledge of self, we would continue to follow a European tradition that has nothing to do with black people. And what I also did too was I talked about the Oscar Grant verdict. Michelle Johansson, the murderer who killed Oscar Grant, only got 2 years, and because he already been serving time in jail, he'll only serve 7 months in jail. That is not only a disgrace, that is disgusting. It is time for us to wake up and realize until we stand up for ourselves, we will continue to be the doormats of white people. And I'm talking about the white people who do not want us on the face of the earth. I'm talking about white people who have systematically planned our death from the time we came over here, not by choice, on the slave ships. I'm talking about a European who would shoot an unarmed black man, handcuffed, execution style, and only get 7 months. That's evil. And there's nobody that can dispute that. Everything I'm saying right now, there's nothing to dispute. What just happened last week shouldn't have never happened. Had I been a black officer, he'd have been serving life without the possibility of parole. This man's not even gonna get probation because he would have served his time outright. This is not only, it's beyond the injustice, but again, we always get enraged and get mad and then let it calm down. This is something you never let calm down. We always must be vigilant, but we always must remember, as long as you're here in America, you'll always be a target for white supremacy. Matter of fact, white supremacy is global. We must learn, basically what we must learn to do, we must learn now to come together as a people. And not only come together, but we got to understand the legal system. We got to understand our rights. We also got to understand our rights to self-defense. We must start learning to defend ourselves because we do have a right to our life. And if somebody decides to take our life, whether it be a police officer, whether it be a rogue agent or whoever, or a white supremacist, we have a right to survive. And what happened to Oscar Grant? He left behind a 2-year-old daughter. A 2-year-old daughter. He'll see on the other side, but he will never be able to hold and touch. So I remind you, as you listen to this broad protest, no matter what you think about me, which it don't matter, remember Oscar Grant. Remember Sean Bell. Remember Jerome Mosique. Remember Robert Dudley Jr. Remember all those who died behind the hand of the police for no just reason. And to this day, they're still walking around. The murderers are still walking around. Keep that in mind. The next time you want to try to criticize any activist who's trying to get the message out and get the truth out, remember that Oscar Grant was executed for no reason, and the pig got off. Remember that. Serious, because he got away with cold-blooded murder. My next show will be on Christmas and Easter. 11 o'clock, the Morning Amplified, from 11 to 12. Come and join me as I lay down the truth. Peace.